Welcome back. Law enforcement is on the scene in California, digging through the home of suspected White House Correspondents Dinner shooter Cole Allen. Christina Coleman is outside the house in Torrance, California, and she has the latest. Christina?
Hi, yeah, so we've been out here all day. I can tell you we've seen FBI officials out here on the street of the alleged gunman going door to door, checking with neighbors. I heard one of them saying that they were looking for Ring camera video. So, you know, they're doing their due diligence, being very meticulous about this investigation. I also talked to a number of neighbors out here, and they tell me they are just completely shocked by what happened. You know, they heard about this shooting that happened, you know, there in the lobby of that hotel, but did not expect for the alleged shooter to be living here in their neighborhood. So they are coming to terms with that. What we know about the suspect, 31 years old, identified as Cole Allen, lives here in Torrance, here in L.A. County, about 20 miles southwest of downtown L.A. Has a very extensive background, educational background, was big into tech, graduated from Caltech, studied mechanical engineering, and yet his life is going to take a dramatic turn if he is found guilty of the charges he will likely be facing. Again, authorities say that he took a train from L.A. to Chicago and then from Chicago to D.C. To carry out this attack. And so, fortunately, no one was seriously injured. But again, authorities are really working hard, investigating what led up to this incident.
Christina, I know his parents, I believe, have talked to him.
You know, I have not seen that so far. I will say, you know, our Matt Fenn, with his incredible and great reporting, you know, he says that the parents are cooperating. We do believe that they lived here in this home with Cole Allen. Also, White House officials, they say that several of his family members have talked to authorities, including his brother, who said that Allen had an alleged manifesto that he had sent to family members. So apparently the brother said that after the incident last night. And then also the sister, she talked to authorities, and she said that, you know, he would make some comments, some rhetoric alluding to needing to fix the issues that are occurring here today. So whatever that means. Also, the White House saying that he was in a group called the Wide Awake. So I went to the group's website. The group describes itself as an open source network who radically reimagines the future through creative collaboration. So I'm sure investigators are going to be looking into all of that. Back to you.
Christina Coleman, thank you so much. Kevin, I'll bring it out to you first. We've heard a lot in the last hour and a half even. Background on who he is, a little bit more. It's colored in. We don't know much about his family. We don't know what his family's political views are or anything like that. And, you know, they're innocent people, so that makes sense. But it does help color in how he got there. And I think that is really kind of the million-dollar question is how do you go from what we know about him to what we saw happen?
Will likely lead. How did this happen? How long ago did this happen? The Post tell us a lot, and we'll see where we go from here.
Tom, there are a lot of questions, of course, still out there. What's the biggest question that you haven't seen answered?
Well, I have a lot of questions that are unanswered, of course. A lot of it has to do with just the security of the building itself. But I want to know, too, when you comb through the social media, you comb through who he was talking to, you comb through the interactions with the family, what they knew, when they knew it. You know, it also takes me back to the assassination of Charlie Kirk and some of the writings and some of the communications between him and his roommate. That takes me back there. So I'm sure we're going to find out more in the coming days and the coming weeks, certainly. But a lot of unanswered questions. Just go back to somebody who was very smart, sound like they had a good job, had a family, and now, for all intents and purposes, his life is going to be over because of the fallout of this and what he did. So a lot of questions there as to how you get there.
Alicia, I think we also around this table and to a certain extent kind of empathize with the overall fact that this happened because we don't want to see anyone's life ruined.
That's right.
But, I mean, I think that's colored by the fact he didn't have a chance to do what he was there to do. And ultimately, from what we know, he had weapons and he was there to use them. As a matter of fact, he shot some rounds off.
He had two firearms and knives as well, so he was very determined. And also, you know, in his manifesto, knocking the security that he saw there at the hotel. He wasn't just a teacher; he was Teacher of the Year for C2 for this place. He tutored high school students, and that was December of 2024. So that's less than a year and a half ago, right? What happened in January of 2025? The President of the United States was inaugurated in January of 2025.
बांसुरी की मिठास एक गांव में एक बूढ़ा कलाकार रहता था जो बहुत सुंदर बांसुरी बजाता था। उसकी बांसुरी की धुन सुनकर लोग मंत्रमुग्ध हो जाते थे। एक दिन एक युवक उसके पास आया और बोला, बाबा, आप कितनी आसानी से इतनी सुरीली तान छेड़ लेते हैं। काश मेरे पास भी ऐसा जादू होता। बूढ़ा कलाकार मुस्कुराया और युवक को अपने साथ अपनी कार्यशाला वर्कशॉप में ले गया। वहां उसने दिखाया कि एक साधारण